company as a company dedicated to promoting the talents of our young, wonderful Melbourne singers, and also to making opera more accessible to Melbourne public. And to that effect, we've been very fortunate in securing the services of Professor Ian Schonbraun. You've probably seen him many times on Peter Ross show on Sundays. Actually, he should have been here at 7:30. It's a bit sort of funny about time, but he's here now, and to guide us through this evening's operas from Monash University, Professor Ian Schonbraun.
I do apologise for my late arrival. The history of music in the 18th century, of course, owes a great deal to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. And this being the bicentenary of his death, it is appropriate that this company, the Melbourne Opera Company, is presenting one of his lesser-known works. There's also of some significance that it is coupled with a piece by Antonio Salieri, who, while enjoying great repute at that time, has since faded into relative obscurity. The play and later the film Amadeus chose to speculate on the relationship of these two writers and their obviously rivalry. That they were rivals is quite clear. In fact, this evening offers incontrovertible proof of that fact. Because, you see, these two one-act operas were commissioned in 1786 by Joseph II, a great patron of the art, as a competition between the two main schools of music in Austria. The dominant force in European music at that time was undoubtedly the Italian school. In fact, Italy dominated not only music, but most of the arts. And Italian was the dominant courtly language, and there was a prevailing belief that it was only appropriate language for song, the others, particularly German, being considered too coarse. Interestingly, we find this issue still not solved today, and we find much debate on whether it is better to present opera in its original language, or whether, as a dramatic theatrical form, it should be presented in the local language to allow greater immediacy and audience involvement. It was for this reason that I decided to hold this. It was for this reason that Joseph II decided to hold this competition and attempt to resolve the debate once and for all. Why should these Italian interlopers like Salieri dictate and sneer at our native tongue? The Austrians' native tongue, especially when we have such charming and inventive young composers like Mozart and others. Perhaps they are a little brash and modern at times, but they care about their country and they want to develop a musical style that is ours. Yes. Let me paint the scene for you. Joseph II commissioned these two works to be composed on the same subject, the preparation and casting of an opera. Interestingly, both librettists focused on the rivalry between sopranos, obviously a not uncommon phenomenon of the time, and both composers created a satirical pastiche on the current musical and operatic styles. The operas were performed on February the 7th, 1786, at a special evening in honour of their Highnesses the Governors General of the Netherlands. And the performances took place in the Orangery at the Palace. And we're not sure of the significance of this particular venue, but we do know that the audience was seated in the centre of the room and the operas were performed one at either end. Obviously, we held the operas here because it was the only reliably warm room in the palace. It was a glamorous evening, and the aristocracy were finding it increasingly difficult to relax and enjoy themselves in the old manor, as all kinds of crazy notions about democracy and the common people were finding a foothold throughout Europe. And in places like France, it was becoming conceivable that something as violent as a revolution may not be far away. However, this evening we were able to forget all that and simply relax. Everyone was there. Count von Dürkheim, Brigitte Simmel, und die Countess, Frau Braun, and Dr. Schaufelner. Of course, the composers had their supporters, and the great deal of friendly persuasion was applied as the evening progressed.
Here Mozart sends his best wishes and has asked me to remind you that if you want that chamber piece completed by next month, it will be necessary for him to be seen as the winner tonight. Otherwise, his financial position may make it impossible for him to proceed. I'm sure you understand. An occasional frown, an exclamation of delight. And from the young lady over here. No, don't listen to her. She doesn't know what we're talking about. I do.
The first of the little operas I have commissioned for this evening is by our court composer himself, Signor Antonio Salieri.
Bravo! Bravo!
The Maestro has graced us with his presence for many years now, and is certainly our most popular composer. Let us see what comic confection the master has dreamed up for us this evening. Maestro.
these good-for-nothing poets. I'm about to lose my reason, lose my reason. They will never be contented if they cannot have their way. They will never be contented if they cannot have their way. I would sooner be a butcher than waste my time in poets. I would sooner be a jester than write verses for composers. For the fool I must have been though, for the fool I must have been though. Then they convert me fast for who has brought me to this way. What is done, as far as all days. Indeed, it's highly possible, and has to be like that. Out drama in 7 days. It's impossible. It's highly possible. In 7 days. In 7 days. It has to be like that. I'm about to lose my I would sooner be a jester. I would sooner be a butcher. I would sooner be a jester than I was for performance. What a fool I must have been though. What a fool I must have been though. Oh, there lay the cursing rascal who had brought me to this place. I would sooner be a jester. I would sooner be a butcher. I would sooner be a jester than I was for performance. What a fool I must have been though. What a fool I must have been though. And they the thirsty rascal who had brought me to this place, who had brought me to this place, who had brought me to this place. All right, then, you must decide, yes or no. Do you imagine that in 7 days, both and you? Concerning the music, there is no need to worry. I have it ready, and all you have to do is write the text. That's like asking to make the soup first, and later to make the man finish. All of you would be poets must be crazy. My friend, try to be sensible. Who do you think would pay the slightest attention to the words or their meaning? Music alone counts. Music is all that matters. And yet his music ought to be expressing some kind of mood or sentiment, for better for worse. My music possesses one great virtue. It lends itself superbly to any feeling. And the singers who are they? I do not know. His Grace the Count of Pizio just yesterday did bring to my attention a famous Prima Donna. He says that she is excellent, and I believe him, and trust him, because his Grace himself assured me that he possesses excellent musical taste. The wealthy do know everything. It's only natural. I'd like, with your permission, to make you a little proposition. Well then, let me hear. I'm somewhat hesitant. I feel it might displease you. What the devil can it be? You make your offer. What harm can come of that? Until accepted, it's just an offer, not a deal. There is another prince who's been very kind to me. I say, a prince of a prince. He is rather anxious to distinguish himself on some occasion like the one before us, by presenting to the public a young lady who's an excellent buffa, a very fine soprano, and also honest, to whom he feels indebted. Is she a friend of yours? Yes. That's a bad sign. And why? I am not sure. It's just a thought. Tell me, just between us, this friendly prince of yours, is he not trying to get rid of that girl in some graceful manner and pass her on to me? Tell me the truth. Speak up now. Not at all. Quite the contrary. If he succeeds, he'll give us 100 gold florins. You must admit that 100 gold florins are not likely refused for such small terms. I'm not refusing the 100 florins, but you're not so hasty, my friend. That sum will have to be divided between us. That is, 50 for you, 50 for me. My friend, I was never a mercenary man. Let me point out, though, that I will have to do most of the work. Hence, I would deem it proper that the proposed division be done more fairly, with a far greater sense of right and equity. You mean? I will take 90, and you can have the rest.
Your honesty and fairness leave me speechless.
Good morning.
Can I help you?
Which of you is the Maestro?
Aye, madame, at your service.
I salute you.
Bad manners. I have nothing to do with her. How can I help you?
I am Donna, Eleanora.
Oh, you must be the lady, the famous Prima Donna, who misgraced the Korlevic.
Oh, yes, I know him. The Count is adorable. He is so sweet.
Now then, she will grant him a queenly protection.
I heard in passing that he is planning an operatic evening. It just so happens how very lucky for the Count that I am uncommitted.
Is good luck, no doubt. I imagine that you have sung in other operas.
Why, surely I've sung in all the greatest and most important of theatres in Europe. And only recently I sang in Cadets, where in less than 2 years I've earned the sum of 1,000 crowns, and all in solid pieces.
What are solid pieces?
I don't know.
Well then, solid pieces, right?
Yes, solid pieces. Have you never been in Spain?
Never.
And neither you.
Neither.
How I must pity you. There you should inquire about the great success, the great impression made by Donna.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Shall we now make some music? I have here a lovely cavatina by Salieri on the poem Beloved. Will you grant us the favor?
With pleasure.
Pardon, I think this passage should be sung with greater expression.
How?
Like this. Ah, no! Oh, not leave me.
Who is this silly cow?
He's the poet.
I should have imagined.
Forgive him. He has the layman's common fault of thinking he knows what he does not.
Well, let's proceed.
The aria of bravura.
All right.
It is a page. Will you perform it with its recitative as introduction?
Yes. But to do it well, I should also act it.
Oh, splendid!
This is the stage. I have Sabino. Hey, you come over here. You can't stand right there.
Here,
Oh,
here.
right there. Assume a noble posture.
Like this.
Even more.
introduction. The whole thing makes no sense.
You are an animal. I know more about sense than you.
I wonder.
Quiet you, each one to his own senses. Please pay him no attention.
Let him be quiet. And for your sake, I shall forgive him.
Thank you. Go on. I shall defend thy honor. William.
Sabino has to be your soprano, and you streets. We can go down no more.
Can you remain a while in that position?
We shall try.
Ready.
At your command.
This audition was quite a little comedy.
I was afraid to see it end in tragedy.
It cannot be denied, though, that this lady is quite a singer and an actress of great talent.
And quite accomplished at torturing people.
So I am talk now. There's no time to be wasted.
I should think not. 7 days!
That's correct. Therefore, get busy. First of all, you must find me some verses for this aria.
That will not be easy.
Don't start again creating any problems. Here, nobody knows it. Some 6 or 7 years ago, it was sung in Parole to the text. Oh, sweetest remembrance of glances so radiant. It ought to serve our purpose. The music is superb. It's bound to be successful. With decent lyrics, I promise you that everyone will think it a new and brilliant creation of my genius.
The verses of 6 syllables. Let's see now. It so happens I have here an old play of mine by the title I Vespri Siciliani.
Oh, such a large cast.
I start with 15, but of these 10 get murdered. Let's see if we could lay the song for you. This one should do it. It is beautiful. Shoot me not, I'm not a Frenchman. It has too many syllables.
Oh, sweetest remembrance of glances so radiant.
Shoot me not, I'm not.
Oh, it won't take. Go on.
Oh, he is another. On what presumption wilt thou impair me? Verses of myself.
Let's skip it.
This one will do splendidly.
Let's hear it.
If weeping and bleeding, if eyes that are bleeding, could never endeavor to soften his heart, then reach for thy dagger, avenger in anger, complete my frustration, let perish this heart.
Bravissimo, it's perfect. But it needs 2 more lines. They'll have to be added.
That will create a problem. Instead you could perhaps...
No, I want them.
If weeping and bleeding... I cannot!
Come on, keep trying.
No longer. This time I have it. No longer can reach thee.
Excellent, my friend. Can reach thee. The next line.
Let me see. If you have to rhyme with each thee. I don't have my book of rhymes on me, but I'll try to do my best. Impeach thee.
No.
Beseech thee.
Yes, yes.
Reach thee. Teach thee.
No.
Bleeding eyes that beseech thee.
Yes, yes, keep going.
If eyes that are bleeding, but vainly beseech thee.
Beseech thee. Brilliant indeed. You are a genius. Now let me have this piece of brilliant work, and let us chat a moment. If the prince, your patron, really wants it, mind you, I'm afraid we can't refuse him. We'll have to engage his singer.
Aha! I see it. Those 100 francs made the right impression.
But Caesar Bouffa, the other dramatic. How can we cast the 2 of them together?
It will not be easy at all.
Won't you give it some thought? Try to concoct some plot that will combine them. Why not try it? Be clever.
Nothing good can come from something done in such haste.
Who cares? I have here so much music, all good and ready, and all you have to do is write the word.
Do you know what you're asking?
Is it so difficult for you to write down a few lines? Don't forget, everything must be finished in 7 days.
I heard that song before.
Regarding that, His Grace the Count of Vizio is quite inflexible. Quiet! Now let me see if I can find an aria that might do for our purpose. Listen to this one. When I was a jolly shipmate, o'er the Alps I gaily sailed.
Utter nonsense!
Here is another. If the sun should go to prison, what would do the stars in heaven?
That one's worse still.
Let me look for something better. Oh, my lady, dearest mistress, do not linger in affliction.
That one I would accept.
All right, then take it. Invent some good ideas to piece them together so we can use both singers. Also patch up this aria and adapt the new words.
Do it cold. Just like that.
Never mind how the chord, we must be ready. Meanwhile, I'll take this aria and adapt the new words.
But I don't...
No buts, not protesting. We have to hurry.
If it's bad work he wants, bad work it shall be. let me complete it. Let me check how it was treated.
Oh, I see. Giulio Sabino is a castrato heart, now I recall. Complete my castration, let perish this one.
Everything is good and ready, I am satisfied indeed. Everything is good and ready, I am satisfied indeed. I am satisfied indeed. I am satisfied indeed.
Castration is done.
Castration, what the devil are you saying?
I am saying what is written here.
Let's see. Frustration, I wrote here, and no castration.
Castration will do splendidly. I won't change it.
You must be jesting.
What I've written, I've written.
Are you out of your mind?
I wrote castration. It shall remain castration.
And let the prodigal say it was a poet who wrote such silly nonsense.
It won't be the first time, nor will it be the last time. Waste no more words about. Tell me, instead, has your work been successful?
I should say so. I've done what seemed impossible. Uniting Seria and Buffa successfully together.
Let's hear it.
Just this. I have created a young and lovely princess, married and blissfully pregnant with a son. There is the usual tyrant who unjustly condemns his husband because he lusts for her, and really tries to bend her to his will.
Oh, let's hear the rascal. What happens to the princess?
She bleeds, implores him, but he remains unyielding.
Oh, woman.
And so she leaves him, weeping and despairing, and determined to die. Commit suicide. Then she reconciles, because the faithful servants of the people, nay, almost clownish, unlearning of her lady's suicide intention, she is of her now last mistress with this hour. Dearest lady, dearest mistress, do not send your soul to Hades, because infamous of actions, but we meet of their attractions of a swan.
Bravo!
Listen to this now. Let some poor and silly maid, in her life is still a boy. Do not yield to your affliction. Do not take your life unknown.
Delightful, I confess.
Now comes the best part. You who are so fair and noble, do not hasten to your tomb. Carry of your trouble, the avenger in your womb.
Stupendous, magnificent.
Well now, am I a man?
I would almost say yes. But we must hurry. Go and find the young lady of the 100 florins. Bring her here right away. Let's see what she can do.
Gladly, I am as anxious as you.
The whole thing is now taking a happy turn. If every composer knew how to deal with these poets, there would almost be hope to see them become useful for something. If they could only abandon their silly notion that anyone cares to hear their verses or even pays them attention. Ah, if they knew, yours, it is yours that matters. Here's a well-rounded aria. In a moment, I'll take it to Eleanora. Ah, let's see this one. Dearest lady, dear. perfectly clear. Do not send your soul to Hades, this most impermanent of actions. Don't defeat your fair attraction of us. Why? Fair attractions of us one. Delightful. Extremely well done. The melody and words are well combined together. In a moment, I will take you through the copies so we can quickly make the necessary changes, prepare the needed copies, and in no time at all we shall be ready. In short, he acts well who acts with speed.
I don't know. That's what he wants me to. He knew that I was coming here with you.
You and didn't wait. You little fight and no better than all his manners, and when it's trouble.
Come now, my little Dina. It is so awful to be alone here with me.
What presumption!
But you know that I love you.
You won't stop letting me Hancock surely, and reporting to the prince. Understand?
What a curse it is to love you.
Wonderful home, it is a great curse for you and for me.
Do not be angry.
The jacket of a maestro is coming. Ah, look at all this music. Nothing but bloody operas. I hope the devil takes it. Now, yes, it's now flat on its face in grass. And I won't feel it. I will tell you what a boy must be. Here's another one. Hannibal on the Alps. The title alone gives me the shivers. A cheerio, love death for my voice. Here are separate numbers, a quartet, a trio, a duet, and here's an aria. It's in F major, I cannot stand arias in F major. Oh, I think something our dear Maestro likes to drink. What wine is it? Drink to my health.
Why on an empty stomach makes me sick?
I said drink before I pour it on you.
But Tonina,
Would you dare to have the nerve to refuse when I had tasted?
well, so be it.
No, all of it.
You will make me throw up.
But drink it.
What a scourge.
I'm waiting. Like that good boy.
Come now, my dear Tonina.
I see it came. I want to try it on.
Signor, I greet you, and the whole crowd. What's this? Oh, merciful God, what do I see here? For my beautiful music, what have you done? Look here, what the devil? Oh, have you lost your mind?
I did not do it.
Who did then?
Over there.
Who is it? Who's wearing my new cape?
The buffa.
Yes, it's I. Is that how you behave when you're in the presence of a beautiful girl like myself?
Oh, my new cape, my beautiful new hat.
There was no one at all to give us.
Why apologize? Fine manners you have to keep me waiting an hour.
But you,
Behave, please,
Behave
Tonina.
to me, insolent to this poet. Behave to me. Am I perhaps crazy? Or maybe have you become my guardian?
the damnation, this woman is a demon, not a not too far. She will tear up the place if we don't stop her.
Try to be calm, please. For the sake of those 100, you know what?
Yes, but meanwhile...
Of course, you're absolutely right.
If you will promise to behave better, I shall forgive you.
Oh, yes. Now it is we who are at fault, not she.
Enough. Let us end this quarrel. We do have much more important things to do.
Then tell me, which roles are most suited for you?
Oh, I could do them all. The little shepherd, the old hag, the child, the simpleton, the cunning.
Those are all roles which are much too familiar. We need something new, different, exciting.
It just occurs to me, I also do quite well at seeing when I am crazy.
Never would I have guessed it.
I'm sure you do that one to perfection.
Would you ever believe it? That was not an affluence of blood into my brain, was not a pain, or anger, or for love, or any other cause. All at once I become bereft of reason. Strangely excited I go out. My eyes become delirious, my head is in disorder. I have hallucinations, become erratic, and I wander, mad and shouting, or singing, or dancing. No, Healy, Healy, Healy. The party is arriving, the party is arriving, the bride and the party, the bride and the party, the lovely Tonina, arrived from Messina. What is this I see now? What is this I see now? I see two dark creatures that fill me with terror. Don't listen, repel me. Ye monsters, be gone outside. I found the gentleman in the log in the dark. There's a Jobson on the green. The Jobson, the Jobson, the Jobson, the man on the green. The man on the green.
I think she's lost her mind.
And oh my God, how very God is brightest thing to face. Ah, well, your traitor, 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 you would never find my hand. Yes, it was you who killed him, was you, am I not and tremble, am I not and tremble, beware my God, and tremble, beware my God, oh tremble, beware my God, and
Oh, please no more. I've seen enough of that scene.
She does not do it badly.
It's just a bit too natural for my taste.
anything else now?
For my part, I've seen enough.
Tonina, do you remember that funny cavatina which you sang for the prince and which made him laugh so much?
Oh, yes, that one. It's about one who stutters, and every syllable he stumbles and mumbles and stammers. Go, 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 go. What commotion!
I'm glad you stopped. I almost had a fit.
Did I not tell you that she was good at everything?
Oh, you are too kind.
You may have heard that we are to present a performance in 7 days. If it would please you to play our part in it, I would like to give you a part which I think is just a part for you.
What is it?
You are a young servant, cheerful and happy, who tries to entertain her downcast mistress and tries to prevent her from committing suicide.
That's all, don't worry, I'm very good at that.
Here is one of your arias.
Let's try it.
All right then, it's an allegretto.
Maestro, you will see now how she can sing at first sight.
Oh, well, I do everything at first sight.
Really? Let's see then. Good evening, madam. Excuse me just for a moment.
Leave me like that.
I'll be right with you.
Here's your aria. Can we rehearse it now?
Certainly. Just as soon as I finish with this lady, I'll be right with you.
Tell me, who's that person?
She's an excellent bookbug.
I don't mix with those waffles. All right. Are you coming in or no?
In a moment. This is Donna Eleanora, who has just returned from Spain.
And if she were the Empress of Morocco, I would not give a damn. Let us begin, I tell you.
Wait just a moment. This other lady has already begun.
Just on my class. I'm not used to waiting.
Where is the drum?
If you don't come at once, I'll sing alone. I am going to tarry any longer. I'll appear to the cello and sing my aria
palace to refresh yourselves in anticipation of our Austrian offering. developing into something of which all of Austria can be proud. He has chosen to use the modern Singspiel style of production for his presentation, and so he will be treated to speaking as well as singing by his company. While this more unorthodox mode of performance is generally reserved for the lower classes, I believe that in these troubled times it is probably best we unbend a little and be seen to share in some of the more simple pleasures of our less fortunate brothers and sisters. However, let us now enjoy Herr Mozart's Impresario.
My husband is dead. I murdered him myself by pouring poison in his chocolate.
No, madame, that was in Act 3.
My public will not suffer me to appear in your opera in the character of a murderess.
But the murder is most justifiable. You see, he did try to smother you in Act 2.
'Tis impossible. There would be a riot.
Madame, your public would be ravished however you appear.
Oh, you think so?
Positively, madame.
Mr. Cash, I see you are a man of discernment.
Then allow me to persuade you. You see, madame, I have managed to engage the opera house for the entire summer.
Now, Mr. Cash, would you have me play tragedies in warm weather and high sentiments in the dog days?
Madame, my operas are the vogue at any season, even if I do flatter myself.
You do indeed, sir.
But with you, madame, the singer of the century, La Heartmelt, the prima donna assoluta of 7 continents.
Pray, let us continue our reading.
At once, madame. In Act 3, your lover dies, and you stab your sister with a hatpin. Then, in remorse, you take the veil.
Ridiculous! I will not appear in the costume of a nun. Most unbecoming. No, sir, I will not take the veil.
But the veil, madame, has already been ordered from Paris. Charmeuse marble, in the fashionable shade known as false dawn. Why, it is the very extreme of elegance.
You may proceed.
At once, madame. The opera is finely wrought, yet happily conceived, full of character, incident, and interest. And then the title, madame.
The suicide?
Or Life Well Lost. Now, do you not feel tempted to adorn the part of Dorabella?
Let me see the contract.
At once, madame, you will not regret it, I assure you. Yes, but do first of all have a look at this aria, for you will sing it with the most persuasive tenderness. Here is the situation. In Act 4, you are in love with Damon the shepherd.
I understood he was a brigadier general.
Oh, no, madame, you strangled the brigadier in Act 3.
So I did.
Now, Damon dies of a broken heart for love of you.
That's well. I dote upon love deaths.
'Tis the old story, madame, sighs, sympathies, and so forth. You, madame, appear upon an eminence of the stage.
And do I run mad? I insist upon running mad.
Oh, but of course, madame. Enter Dorabella, distracted, in rags.
Rags, Mr. Cash? No heart in rags.
But the rags are made of rose velour, trimmed with swan's down.
Now, no, Mr. Cash, and Bouffon and the way.
But of course, madame.
Well, then, the song.
Oh, at once, madame.
You must indulge me with the script.
With pleasure, madame. Now, there lies the corpse of Damon on a mossy bank. The sun is setting in the wings. The chapel bells are tolling.
I adore bells.
Oh, wait, madame, and I shall read the lines. A lover cannot fall more glorious than in the cause of love. Oh, 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 oh.
Oh,
Now Dorabella dies on the corpse of David. The lines, madame, the lines.
I'm at the end of all my care. Here I will die with him.
Before you die, ma'am, I have some business to discuss with Mr. Catch.
Who is this person by all that's ugly?
Mademoiselle Warblewell, I am heartily glad to see you, madame. You look charmingly. But you are 2 hours late.
Sure you did not expect me to be punctual. I am a prima donna, sir. I narrowly escaped death, I assure you. The dear Duke of Dietrichstein saw me as my coat turned in the Mickausplatz. Gads through the larynxes, he cries. 'Tis the Warblewell. In a moment, the crowd was upon me. They shouted, they screamed, they kissed my hands. I was obliged to sing them the cavatina from Love in a Harem. Hi-ho, fame is a hard road to travel. But I do love my public. Mwah, mwah. The darlings. Now, Mr. Catch, I am ready to begin the rehearsal.
Oh, at once, madame.
What rehearsal, may I ask?
Of the new opera, The Suicide.
Or Life Well Lost?
You take the words from my mouth, ma'am.
Mr. Cash, I will be calm, but I can see plainly this is a plot to insult me. You have engaged this conceited mongrel to play my part.
No, no, madame Heartmelt.
Restrain the severity of that frown. Mademoiselle Warblewell plays quite another part altogether. Do but look further. Act 3, Scene 4.
Enter Lucinda in boy's clothes.
The Warblewell always enters in boys' clothes. My legs are the despair of Europe.
Indeed. Is that why the nations agree so badly?
Now, Mr. Cash, we will take my great scene from Act 4, where Lucinda is abducted by the Emperor of Morocco. Kneel. There.
I'm transported.
I'm amputated.
If you ever hear anything so exquisite.
Never, Mr. Cash. The donkey in the dell is nothing to it.
With two such voices in my opera, its success and my fortune are guaranteed.
Two voices?
Mr. Cash, you are ignorant and scurrilous and very impertinent. Mr. Cash, I have a strange mind to leave you to yourself, and then see what a hand you would make of it.
Do leave him, ma'am. He has engaged me.
Ladies, two empresses of song in one opera. Madame Heartmelt. Oh, silent despair, a mixture of fire and softness. and the Warblewell, why Mervis presided at her birth, her wild, fantastic humor.
I have listened attentively. You cannot have the assurance to imagine that I would appear with that.
You are right, man. No one would notice you if you did.
The pouting puppet. She begs for flattery like a nest of unfledged crows for food, and with them gulps down everything that's offered her.
Flattery? Do but read the newspaper critiques upon our Warblewell.
I would not stoop to read the daily print. I sing, Mr. Cash, but she barks like her own lapdog.
Oh, my poor little Poppy.
Yes, 'twas 1,000 pities he died in a fit of hydrophobia the moment he heard her sing.
You have no more expression than a toasted muffin.
A toasted pig's egg. I have a sweet but thrilling voice of even tone and a ravishing quality.
Yes, if you call the roof being copper.
I am the dreamer on the hill. I am the dreamer on the hill. Living cold, with toil of soul. I'm wrecked of soul. I was the very good. It's not tall. It's not big voice.
Why must you call me?
I wasn't right to
I
take
don't
it.
have to discriminating judgment. You see, you are both missing an opportunity for making history.
How, Mr. Cash?
Why, never before have two such prima donnas appeared on the same stage together.
And never will.
Precisely, God forbid. Why, you would go down to posterity emblazoned with every virtue, assured of the love and reverence of generations. The two prima donnas who sank all of their differences for the love of their art.
My sentiment and my live.
And mine, Madame Heartmelt, I'll do it.
My dear Warblewell.
Mwah! You sing like an angel. Mwah!
I dote upon your top D.
Where is the contract?
Right here, allow me.
Remember, Mr. Cash, my name must appear first upon the playbill.
Oh, Madame Heartmelt, you may depend upon it.
Mr. Cash, I insist that my name be placed first in the announcement.
Mademoiselle Warblewell, that is understood.
Prima
This evening gives me great heart for the future of our local musicians. I mean, perhaps both styles can find favor. Perhaps the Italian can coexist with the German somehow, and along with the French. Even the English speakers may manage to create their own opera one day, though that may be a little far-fetched. Tonight has been a golden night for me. Great rivals have performed together. May the nations and their people learn to do likewise. No matter what happened, we had spent this time in peace with one another. For that, I thank you. It was a wonderful night. It was a wonderful night. Whether I did right in exposing that young man to such scrutiny alongside an established composer like Salieri, not sure. Hope I have not damaged his career. I only wanted us to be proud of what we have and what we are. Many of my advisors tell me it did not fare well for him. Only time can tell. History may judge us all differently. Who knows? History. History is a cruel mistress. The history of music, one of the most capricious. I do hope my few words of explanation have been of benefit this evening. I felt I'm not quite being myself, but no matter. May great art continue to thrive, and may we all enjoy the words of music in great harmony, and may all great artists continue to work together for the enjoyment of all, and thank you and good night.